in the competition, that could have been a disaster for the Bruins.
So back to the steeplechase, and you can see the meet record of 8:40-1, set by Dave Daniels of UCLA in '81. Qualifying standard below of 8:44. This is Tom Gruey, Steve Vallon of California running in lane 2. Lane number 3, Jim Ortiz, a sophomore from UCLA. (3,000 meters and barriers, and really an endurance event. Jason Flam is the 4th man in the event from California, not Skinner. And they start out with Vallon. And Gruey going over the first barrier together. This is 7.5 times around the track here at UCLA. And now all of a sudden the skies have darkened and it begins to rain a little bit here.
We'll have plenty of water in the water jump at this rate.
Something we really didn't need, Vic Holchak. I can tell you that right now.
There are 4 barriers and 1 water jump in this race, Tom. The barriers are 36 inches high, the same height as the intermediate hurdles. And they're barriers, not hurdles. If you hit a hurdle, the hurdle goes down. You hit a barrier and you hit the ground.
The Bruins, Tom Gruey has the best time in this event, recorded so far this year, 8:47.29. And they're just coming to the head of the stretch to complete their first tour of the 400 meters here at Drake Stadium. It'll be 7.5 times around.
Tom, Jim Ortiz on the outside there is a sophomore from Barstow. He's the brother of Steve Ortiz. Steve Ortiz, the greatest Bruin distance runner ever. His brother Steve holds 4 UCLA distance records. A fine young competitor here, Jim Ortiz, a great talent.
Steve Vallon of Cal and Jason Flam of Cal are the 2 taller of the men of the foursome out there, and distance runners have always seemed to be rather slight of stature that I can remember. At least they seem to have the best of it, and both Vallon and Jason Flam are head and shoulders, so to speak, above Gruey and Ortiz.
Flam and Vallon are both 6'1". Gruey and Ortiz are both 5'7".
Is it just my imagination, or does size play a part in this grueling event?
The usual steeplechaser is about 5'10", 5'11", 130, 135 pounds. The 2 Cal guys, Flam and Vallon, are very tall for steeplechasers.
And everybody gets their feet wet as they clear the barrier with the water. And the 2 Bruins are leading, although it is very close as they are coming to the head of the stretch to complete the 2nd tour of the track here at Drake Stadium.
Sam Skinner, who was entered in this race and has dropped out, was Cal's #1 steeplechaser. He won the steeplechase in this meet last year, Tom. He had minor knee surgery earlier this year. He's had to scratch. He's had a lot of trouble. So Cal has lost one of their best athletes, Sam Skinner, a senior, not competing in this race.
We're going to show you, as the meet goes on, the winning efforts in the hammer, the javelin, the shot, and the pole vault, of course. Pole vault is still being decided, and the discus, too. Pole vault, I've been informed now, is completed. And it was Brandon Richards who's claimed the victory there for the Bruins. And as we told you, with Keyboard and Richards both tied going for the lead and the win, why it was going to be an 8.5-point event for UCLA and only a half-point for California. And as we are now looking at the completion, or nearly so, of the 3rd leg here of the 7.5 lap 3,000-mile steeplechase, why UCLA is leading 21.5 to 19.5 points. And that, of course, includes that 5-point win. Back to the steeplechase, and you see the Bruins are still in front. Boy, that water's got to be chilly. That'd be Gruey and Ortiz. Here they are with the water jump again.
It's about 36 inches high. Here's Tom Gruey from UCLA going over, followed by Jim Ortiz. And Tom, one of the things that happens to the steeplechasers, once they hit that water, for the next few strides, there's water in the shoe. And it's slishing and sloshing around down there. It can be a very uncomfortable race, and especially with the rain that's beginning to fall here, these guys are not in for the most pleasant afternoon.
They called Powell for a foul on that last jump, but his 25-10.5 wind aided earlier leap is going to stand up, I believe, to give the Bruins the top spot in the long jump. Gruey continues to lead, and now he has widened quite a margin over teammate Ortiz. Flam and Ballin are running third and fourth for California, but it appears as though Gruey is going to have this event well in hand, barring something untoward happening here in the closing couple of laps.
Tom, Flam is a junior from Carmichael. He took 17 seconds off his personal record last year, and he's now in a very good position to get up there for second place. Jason Flam moving up on Jim Ortiz. We could have a real battle for second place, and that second place in this, those 3 points could be very important, because this meet could really come down to the last event.
Indeed. I will remind our viewers again that there's 163 points comprising this dual meet. In all but the relay events, you are awarded 5 points for first place, third for second, and a point for third. The 9 points with the relays, of course, the winning relay team gets 5, and the loser gets nothing. Well, there's Flam moving up now to take second place as he goes by Ortiz, but Gruey is out in front by 15 yards and maybe 20 as he seems to widen his margin on the far side of the track here at Drake Stadium. And it would appear to be quite a feat for Flam to think of coming up and overtaking Gruey. In fact, Ortiz is not that far out of it. He's very close at hand.
We've got a real battle here for those 3 points for second place. Flam and Ortiz.
And the rain now comes down and is going to be another added test for the runners out here. It is chilly and windy. It is a day, I think, I mentioned to you earlier, that would be more conducive to football than it would to track and field. Coming up for the bell lap now, Gruey has widened his margin to about 60 yards and is getting the bell and the sound for the final lap, and he's over the first barrier. Flam is widening his margin over Ortiz. 3,000-meter steeplechase, and running in the number 4 spot is Steve Allen of California. So it is, Vic Holchak, as you said, going to be a battle for second and the 3 points. And Flam right now appears to have Ortiz in hand as they are going down the backstretch. And forget about catching Gruey. He is so far out in front that he could just stop and rest for a moment, and they still could catch him.
And here comes Ortiz.
Here he comes back again now. And now Flam is going to have to ask himself to get back up.
Oh, this could be very big for the Bruins. UCLA needs the points here, and Ortiz is pulling away. This is Steve Ortiz's little brother. Steve Ortiz, the greatest distance runner ever in UCLA history, and Jim Ortiz, the little brother, is going to come in for second place now. It looks like he's got it. UCLA is going to go 1-2 unless he hits the last barrier. He's got to make a clean hurdle here.
I don't think, as he clears that last barrier, that Flam can catch him.
It's going to be 1-2 UCLA.
It will indeed. Now